Okay, guys, so let's go over this so you all you business owners can get some clarity and some understanding on how this is playing out and what we're doing and what's going on with the RRF program in this new bill that's packaged up through Congress that has been sent over to the Senate. So let's dig into this, everyone. I'm going to go over this bill in short in an article from NBC to give you more details in regards to what they say, so you can project and decide if you fit into any of these categories. Okay, so we're going to go over this bill and then we'll go over the details of it, because we know there are some details in there that we need to be involved in to know exactly how this is going to play out for your small business. So let's go ahead and go over this NBC article. The House passed a $55 billion bill Thursday that would provide assistance to restaurants and other small businesses that have struggled because of the coronavirus pandemic. Yeah, that's correct. They have passed a bill numbered HR 3807. HR means House, S means Senate. So the HR bill 3807, which passes the House, now has to go to the Senate, who has actually drew up a bill of their own. So they're going to take the bill of their own and match it with the bill that Congress has passed. So they're going to take these bills, combine them together, and make the changes where they deem necessary. Then the bill will be amended. So just make that clear. This bill will be amended. Lawmakers approved the measure in a 223 to 203 vote, with only about a handful of Republicans backing it. A large chunk of the bill, $42 billion, would replenish the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, a grant program launched as a result of the American Rescue Plan, which Joe Biden signed last year. Okay, so here it's important to note that the Congress has passed this bill on a 223-203 vote. Now, it's important that we note Nydia Velázquez is the majority leader, not the majority leader in the Congress, that's Nancy Pelosi, but she is the head of the Small Business Committee in Congress. So she has a lot of pull in this, and she is the one as well that's backing the other $13 billion for the hard-hit small businesses. Whereas Ben Cardin is in the Senate, which is the bill is going over to Ben now to propose, and he's already drew up a bill of his own. So he may want this bill of his own to go forth because he may have some things that he wants in there that it would not be beneficial to his promises that he's made to maybe the little league minor teams or whatever for baseball and this and that. So he may be pulling out that whole everybody in the hard hit business sector is going to get the money, and only these specific gyms and baseball teams and these people in this specific area would get it. So it'd kind of be, he wants to maybe cherry pick it a little bit more. In his bill, we've noticed that he is more into cherry picking and deciding where he wants to put the money, as far as instead of Nydia Velázquez, who's like, let's give it to the hard-hit businesses. So let's keep that in mind as far as we move forward here. Nearly 300,000 restaurants and bars applied for the grants through the program last year, according to Small Business Administration, but only a third of the applicants received relief. The legislation would also provide $13 billion for other businesses affected by the pandemic, and it would establish oversight and reporting requirements to ensure grants are awarded properly and verify the use of fundings. This is where you come in. This is where everybody comes in, because I have read the comments here down below, and I agree with all of you. Yes, I have businesses saying, wait, I'm in this business over here. We were hit the hardest. And then other people saying, no, we're in this business. How can they not have us? We were hit the hardest, and you're all right. Everybody was hit the hardest. All these small businesses were hit the hardest. And what the people don't want to see is, hey, how do they know who was hit the hardest without seeing the numbers? Well, here's our chance to give them the numbers, to say, hey, look at this. Here, tell me I wasn't hit the hardest. And this is your chance as a small business owner to come forward with your numbers, and then you can qualify for this grant for up to $1 million if you show them the numbers, which is amazing. I'm going to go into the details on these numbers and the calculator that they're going to use to determine the amounts ahead in this video, but this is your chance as a small business owner to say, hey, don't cherry pick me. Here's our numbers. Thank you very much. This is amazing news, everybody. I just hope that you all can understand how really awesome this is, but here we go. Representative Earl Blumenauer, Democrat of Oregon, the main sponsor of the bill, and Representative Dean Phillips, Democrat in Minnesota, said Thursday that more than 80% of the restaurants that didn't receive grants have reported that they are on the verge of permanent closure. Citing a survey from the Independent Restaurant Coalition, they said at least 90,000 restaurants and bars have closed since the pandemic started more than 2 years ago. Guys, those numbers are breathtaking. That's where our heart really hurts. That's where our heart really wants to go out to those families and business owners that saying 90,000 restaurants have closed due to this pandemic. 90,000, that's just, it's unimaginably massive. And it's crazy to know that 90,000 restaurants, which you're talking families of, and they have employees that have children. It hurts. It's so sad. That's why we're fighting here. That's why we're doing what we're doing to try to get these families back on their feet. It's unclear whether Democrats in the evenly split Senate will be able to win over at least 10 Republicans to overcome the 60-vote threshold to end a potential filibuster and pass the measure. But with Congress having adjourned for a 2-week recess, the bill won't be considered anytime soon in the Senate. This is where it gets weird, because we just got those numbers from the Independent Restaurant Coalition saying that, look, 90,000 restaurants have gone under. 80% of the businesses that applied are on the verge of going under. And what do we hear? We hear the Senate and Congress is now going into a recess. Does that not remind you of when you were a kid and you were in like grade school and the teacher's talking about this subject and it's very important? Hey kids, look, I'm giving you this information and it's very important that you learn this. And recess. Now, if you think it's a good time to go on recess, comment below. If you think it's a time that we should wait and we should just wait and pass this bill, comment below. Let me know how you feel about that. Okay, so it's saying it's unclear whether Democrats in the evenly split Senate will be able to win over at least 10 Republicans to overcome the 60-vote threshold to end any potential filibuster and pass the measure, but with Congress having adjourned for 2 weeks to recess. The Senate does not need the 60 votes from the Republicans in order to get this passed through. They only need 50 votes, and the vice president could come and filibuster it and say, no, we're not going there. They only need one Republican vote in order to call it a bipartisan bill, to say, yeah, we both had our hand in this. So the Republicans, if the Senate only gets one Republican, it looks like there's a couple Republican senators on board with this. Recess. Next page, please. I think right now it's hard to. That's what she said. Recess. I think right now it's hard to, as you saw, even with the $10 billion package of new money for COVID, unless they can reprogram or repurpose it, it's going to be a hard sell, he said Thursday afternoon before he exited the Capitol for recess. He exited the Capitol for recess. Okay, we can all say it shouldn't be a hard sell. What's so hard to say? We give them the money. You said they were going to get the money and you didn't have enough. So what's so hard about selling that? Well, the hard sell is we've got to take, like he said, it's a complicated issue because of the first RRF that was put into play, and it took out small businesses that were white. They took out the white businesses. And John Thune's kind of saying, we got to watch out what they might have put in here, guys. So this might take a little bit longer than you think, and it's going to be a hard sell for us to trust them again and hope that they're not putting something else in there, say like a policy map, or like, certain businesses can't get the funds due to the color of their skin, where they live, or any kind of discriminatory purposes, why they were seeing class action lawsuits in the first RRF program, which they lost. So that's why Jason McElhone is out there fighting for you and fighting for all small businesses. And I want to shout out to him and say happy birthday. I know his birthday's coming up and I want to thank him for all that he's doing in this push and in this fight to get us this money, to get everybody this money. He's doing kind of what everybody's doing here, is bonding together. And that's why we're coming around. And if we come together bipartisanly, for you Democrats, for the Republicans, for those of you who just don't really even agree with either one of the entities, I'm personally in that area where I could take or leave 99% of both of how they feel, both of how these politicians feel. I'm not affiliate. I don't affiliate myself directly with the Republican side or the Democrat side. I don't want to be in there, and neither should we, because we just want our businesses to prosper. We just want to live that life of happiness and the pursuit of happiness and move forward in there. Recess. According to the Small Business Administration, which handles the fund, restaurants and other eligible businesses can receive funding equal to their pandemic-related revenue loss, up to $10 million per business and no more than $5 million per physical location. In addition to restaurants and bars, eligible businesses include food trucks, bakeries, wineries, or breweries, and inns. Now, for details on what you really should know if your business is in need of these funds, and you don't want to be surprised, none of us really want to be surprised on how they've drawn this up or how it's looking to play out. This was a good article from NBC. We want to thank NBC for this article. It shed some light on the big picture here. But with the bills that are written, and most of you already know that there are some details that can make or break your chances of actually getting these funds into your accounts. And that's a whole different video, but I'm going to bring up some points where, for those of you who are very interested in the details, which a lot of you are, I'm just going to quickly go over one portion of it here where you'll be surprised how we're seeing what might be a signal for getting the remainder of your $10,000 grants, or maybe even more, and even how we're seeing a signal of some loan forgiveness that could be applied to you as well in this form of the RRF in the hard hit small business bill. The new bill can step towards EIDL forgiveness, and when the applications and process comes out, hopefully you can be ready to and knowledgeable enough to get this relief for your business and know the steps that you really need to take in the details that you really need to make sure that you hit on in order to put yourself in the right position to receive this money that's going to be sent out with this restaurant revitalization bill. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, where we're going at with this, I'm realizing this is probably going to have to be a much longer video than I anticipated, because I just went over this bill again, and it really it digs deep into codes and stuff like that, as far as the HRC code, the IRC codes and stuff like that, for which one's the CARES Act, which one's the American Heroes Act, et cetera, the mathematical calculator that they're using. And it's going to take a little bit longer than I anticipated. This video is already getting pretty long. So I'm going to be working on this video now to give you the details in where this is going and what to expect in detail about this bill, and what we're more than likely to see that we're going to have to move forward in with the exact bill and get you prepared. And I have to be very careful with this, because this is legislative text that we're talking about, and it can be easily misinformed if read the wrong way. So I want to make sure that I'm giving you proper information, and I want to be in lieu of your time with this video, knowing that the next one, when this next video comes out, is going to be about the bill and the details about what is going on with it. But I want to make sure I give it to you accurately. So it's going to take me a little bit more time to decipher than I had thought. I was going to kind of condense it for you, but I'm going to try to give you more details, and that way you can be more prepared in moving forward with these requirements needed in order to get this grant for your business, and to make sure that you do it the correct way, so that there's no misconception in how this is playing out. So guys, stay tuned for the next video, and I will get back with you once I've completed it, and I'll have it out there for you shortly, hopefully within the next day, maybe even 2 days. We'll see, depending on how the timeline goes with this and reading over it for you. Okay, guys. Well, thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe. I hope you found this information valuable. Somebody say, hey, we still want our 10K.
Yeah.